Happy Monday, everybody. Sorry we missed our monthly Q&A for the end of May on Friday, but we had some bad weather, so we all stayed home and we didn't make it into the office on Friday. So we will do it today, so I guess we will get started with the questions that Lexi has.
Our first question is, what is your favorite color to design with?
So probably my favorite color, well, it's kind of two answers to that. I love blue, and if you look at our website, we seem to attract a lot of people that love blue too. So blue would probably be our favorite color to design with, but I also like neutral palettes as the foundation, and then adding the color like blue in your secondary pieces of furniture or your accessories and artwork and things like that. So you can change it out.
Our next question is, when picking a paint, what sheen/finish do you like to use, and is this universal throughout the home, or do you recommend different finishes in certain areas?
So we primarily will use satin or eggshell, depending on the company and depending on if it's indoor or outdoor, whatever. Satin and eggshell can kind of be interchanged. But in general, we like to use that because it's not too shiny, so it doesn't catch a lot of glare on the walls, but yet I don't like matte because it's not as easy to clean, especially if you have kids and things like that in high traffic areas. So satin or eggshell seems to be a nice universal finish for a lot of areas. Now, if you're in a theater room, I would definitely suggest a matte finish because it won't absorb any light and have the light glare, and that's important for a media room. And then your high gloss, I rarely use like a glossy finish unless it's like a high gloss one. Sometimes in a powder room or a dining room or something like that, if you're really looking for like a very high-end or a very formal look, then we'll go with your high gloss finishes, but normally satin or eggshell.
In a room that has a lot of hard surfaces and tends to be very loud, like a dining room, what do you recommend to reduce noise?
So yes, your dining rooms have a lot of hard surfaces, and in general, your open concept houses are very noisy because you've got the wood floors, the cabinets, all of those hard finishes around, and the walls. There's not a lot of walls or anything to stop the noise from just kind of reverberating all throughout the room. And you've got the high ceilings, so then the sound, is echoing off the high ceilings. So I would recommend people to get something like felt or some sort of soundproofing, like you can buy, like that egg carton looking material that you put on walls, like in a radio soundproofing booth or something like that. You can buy those things, you can cut them to size, and then I would put them up underneath things like your chairs or under your table, especially if it's not an expandable table or something like that, and that helps to absorb some of the noise.
When laying out a living room, how much of a walkway should you leave around the furniture?
So for your traffic flow, you want to probably leave a minimum of 4 feet. 5 feet is great if you can get it, but I would say a minimum of 4 feet so that you don't feel like you're crowded and your room doesn't fit in the room, or your furniture doesn't fit in the room. Hopefully your room fits in the room.
In a living room, what item or items would you put the most money in?
So in a living room, I would probably put a lot of money in the sofa. Whatever pieces are the ones that you're going to sit in the most, you're going to use the most. So your sofa for sure, or your sectional piece. If you put your feet up a lot and you want a coffee table ottoman, then I would put money into that because that's going to be a very highly used piece of furniture. If you do a recliner, then you probably want a very well-made recliner and one that doesn't look like the big fat Pillsbury Doughboy. So those would be the pieces that I would put probably your largest investment in.
And then our last question for today is, do you use real or faux plants inside of a home?
I have a brown thumb, so I use faux plants for the most part because I kill anything that lives indoor or out sometimes too. And that's another area though that kind of leads me to a secondary answer, because I do use faux plants. I'm sort of a snob on the faux plants. So don't buy your plants from Home Goods, please, or at home, or anything like that that's going to be your tree or your bush or your plant like that. Every now and then Home Goods has a good quality piece. Not usually at home. Target is really iffy. Amazon can have some good pieces, but some of the things are your faux plants, your lighting, and your window treatments. If you go cheap on those things, then you can spend a lot of money on your furnishings, but it looks like your room is cheap because you've used window treatments that are unlined and don't fit your windows. You've got plants that turn blue when the sun hits them, and that looks cheap. And your lighting, when it's cheaply made, it just looks like you haven't spent money on anything else, even if you have. So if you will invest in better quality pieces on those things, then you can actually sometimes invest less in some of your other pieces, but it looks like you spent more in the room because those items are good quality.
Those are all of our questions for this time.
Great. Well, thank you guys for your questions, and I look forward to the end of June where we can answer some more. So don't forget to turn in your questions.